Welcome, I'm Dr. Saida. I'm very excited about this series, Redefining Femininity, to introduce you some very special, unique friends and colleagues. And today, one of my favorites is LiYana Silver. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about LiYana as we invite her on the call. LiYana is a coach, teacher, and a torch holder. I love this. For a world to be in which the epidemic of women self-haters and self-doubters has long become absurd. Yes. Her book, Feminine Genius, has a way of magically landing in laps worldwide. So don't say you weren't warned. So there you go, LiYana, welcome.
So glad to be here. I love you.
I love you too. So I want to just dive right in. We're going to keep this these little interviews short and sweet so that people, who are very busy get to watch the whole thing. So the first question I have for you is, what does femininity mean to you personally?
Well, I don't think it has to do with gender. I don't think it has to do with us any identity as man or woman or human being. Oh, well, I think it has to do with human being. To me, femininity, I know one could hear that as an instruction of how a woman should be. I don't hear it that way. I hear femininity as one kind of energy that runs through every human body. And when we speak of it in terms of quality, in terms of particular kinds of strengths or abilities or energy, then I think we're onto something really useful. I happen to think femininity, like in the common parlance today, if you ask someone who identifies as a woman about her femininity, she might say that she loves it, she might say that she hates it, but there would be a conversation. If we asked a man about his femininity, it would be taboo. So there's a way that femininity is seen as other, seen as less than, and seen in the cultural conversation. And it happens that it's half of our humanity and half of our bodies. And so I work with women predominantly. So it's a conversation about women understanding what is this a half of their being and their bodies and their femininity, and it's not a liability. It is a pathway to more wholeness and, more of the things we're so wanting that we bury femininity for in the first place.
Yes.
So if I could bottom line it, I feel like femininity or feminine energy is a combination of certain kinds of strengths, our intuitive strengths, our sensual strengths, our ability to land in our bodies and be in and of the body, our ability to connect rather than compete, our ability to receive and take in information, and our ability to feel and have emotional intelligence and not just live in the head. That's how I think of the strengths of femininity.
Gorgeous. I love it. And I'm curious, LiYana, because that's such a profound definition. And there's a couple of things that really stood out for me was the strength of our sensuality, the strength of our receptivity, which are very distinct flavors. And I really appreciate that. So I'm curious, in your own personal journey, was there a moment or did something occur where these insights that you just shared became super obvious and you started to have like a very conscious relationship with those dynamics?
Well, let me say, I'll pick the body as one example. We live in a culture where the mind, I would call that a little more thinking, logic, judgment, right? It's a little more, has masculine flavor. Body, feelings, emotions, sensuality, a bit more feminine. And for me, I was trained as a dancer, professional, contemporary, modern dancer, and trained in this very strange, way, like my body's my instrument. And so you'd think I'd have a great relationship with my body, but I was really in a dominating relationship, just trying to subdue and control my body. So it created a warring sense inside me, a war of me with me, which I think is incredibly common. And at one point, one of my mentors said to me, yes, but when you're at war with yourself and you win, who loses? Oof. Which is a moment of cognitive dissonance, but it really landed right in my heart. And I realized two things. I realized there absolutely was a part of me that wanted another part to lose. I wanted to absolutely cut out with a scalpel the part of me that felt too much, that desired things that other people didn't want me to have, that cried, that any, I just wanted those things gone. And then I realized, darn it, no, I don't. I want to have I want to be a good friend to myself. I want to have like a wonderful relationship with myself. And I think that idea of connecting with ourselves is very feminine. And I think the idea of embracing the body rather than trying to control the body, I think is also very feminine.
Wow, I got goosebumps when you shared that, because I'm also a former professional dancer, and the level of self-loathing and hatred that I had toward my body was pretty phenomenal. So I can completely relate. And that question just really hit my heart very deeply, of asking, like, who wins if you're at war with yourself? Like, that's bringing tears to my eyes. It's a powerful question.
Powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a wise man.
Yeah. So, LiYana, right now in the cultural narrative, there's a lot of divisive discussions about masculinity versus femininity. And we're not going to go there here today, but I just want to name it, because what I want to invite into this space is your opinion, your insight, your blessing, let's call it, of one thing that you might feel is really crucial that we get right now in order for us to create more healthy, harmonious dynamics with masculinity and femininity as we move forward.
Thank you for acknowledging that. I think even bringing up the words masculinity and femininity can be so confusing and polarizing, and I really honor that. And I'll do my best to speak, do the conversation justice. I feel as though we could be saying, there's orange energy and there's blue energy in humans. And for whatever reason, orange has been really culturally thought of really bad and weak and wrong, and we should control the orange energy. And all I'm saying is orange energy is very important for us as human beings. Let's balance the two. I borrow a story from the indigenous people of the Amazon that say humanity, each of us, humanity is like a bird with two wings. And they say there's a masculine wing and a feminine wing. They're not saying there's just men and women, or just, right? But there are two, there's orange wing and a blue wing. And we as a culture fly with the blue wing. And that's all muscular and strong and even, dominant, even violent in its energy. And our orange wing, or feminine wing, if you will, is weak, atrophied. And we must find a way just to use both of these qualities within ourselves. If someone feels like even saying that they have masculine energy or feminine energy doesn't do them justice, doesn't speak to them how they express as a gendered or non-gendered being, I completely agree with them. At the end of the day, the conversation for me is about what energies and what aspects of ourselves culturally and individually have we buried, and if we said are not acceptable, and let us elevate those and let us celebrate those.
Yeah. I think that's a crucial point that you just said. If we remove those labels and just looked at the totality of a human being, and that there's aspects of a human being that are tender and vulnerable and soft and squishy, and then there's aspects of a human being that are strong and clear and boundaried and loud, and all of these facets, and we have all of that. And then to look individually first, which of those facets is atrophied and which one seems to dominate, because it could be any of those things. And is there a way that we can create a healthy, harmonious experience within ourselves first, before we emerge and attempt to relate outwardly to others and the situations that are at hand right now? So am I understanding you?
Yeah, greatly said, greatly paraphrased. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. LiYana, I really appreciate your presence here today. I don't know if there's anything else you'd love to invite us into, kind of just leaning into before we say goodbye.
I heard an interview on the radio, so I can't attribute the speaker, someone who was accepting an award, I think, for Best Picture, but I didn't watch the Oscars in the US. But I think it was someone accepting an award for some winner or the Oscars. And they said the job of an artist is to make visible the things that other people can't see or won't look at. And I consider myself, you know, a kind of an artist, even though I'm doing coaching and writing, et cetera, the soul of an artist, or at least I have the soul of someone who says, I stand for the things that we've buried or don't want to look at. Like, I'm a champion for the underdog because I know the kind of self-love and self-confidence that comes alive in someone who has been able to see the things that they weren't willing to see before in themselves. And, you know, that's a human artistic thing, but it also feels like the grace of the feminine as well. Beautiful. To say, even this cast out thing, this has a place here.
Yes. Yes to that. LiYana, I adore you. Thank you so much for your embodied wisdom. This little interview series is very important to me to speak with people that I feel are actually embodying that which is true for them. And you are definitely one of those exemplary human beings. So thank you so much for blessing us here today. And for the listeners, I have a little invitation for you. So stay tuned. Thank you, LiYana.
Thank you so much.
You're invited to join this amazing conversation. Soon I'll be doing a training, Redefining Feminine Power, and I want you to be there. So click the link that comes with this video, join. Just for joining, I will be giving you a free downloadable gift, so definitely watch out for that. And if you can't make it at the time that the training is happening, don't worry. Because you've signed up, we'll make sure you get the replay, all right? So all you need to do is just click on the link, join the conversation, and let's redefine feminine power together.